Hello and welcome back to Podcast with a K. I'm your host, Carla with a K. You're listening to WECS 90.1 FM, and I am joined here on this fine Sunday evening by Jorge Centellas.
Yes.
Into the mic. So that is Jorge. Jorge was actually our first guest way back when.
It's true.
But unfortunately, if you know or if you don't know, I usually keep a log of these episodes so that I can go back and listen to them, use them to, better the show. Hopefully at some point get them posted so you can go back and listen to them, share them with your friends. Jorge's episode was the only one that did not record.
Forever lost in the archives.
Forever lost
That's
in the
right.
archives, indeed.
That's
So
right.
unfortunately, that one was lost to the ages. And we had some good conversation.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we
No,
did.
we didn't.
A lot of the conversations in the following shows kind of seem to build off of it, if you don't remember.
I guess, yeah. You could say that.
And I feel like people actually referenced your episode more than any of the others.
Really?
You just had a lot of weird,
They had that
quotable
much of
things
an
to say.
impact. Well, I'm
You said something
honored.
about Christmas socks. I remember that, and people
Yes.
kept kind of quoting that through the season.
I am a very quotable person.
Are you?
I've heard, yes.
Jorge is one of the people that we reference a lot on the show because, as you know, whenever I introduce someone new, one of the questions I ask is, what is their zodiac sign? And Jorge was quick to say that he didn't believe in any of that. And then later when I asked him, I was like, would you relate to this? Do you relate to that? He only related to traits of his own astrological sign,
Oh, would you look at that?
which I thought was amusing. But anyway, if you are wondering, please disregard my voice. This is me podcasting while I'm still a bit sick.
Yes, yes. It's okay.
But yeah, we out here braving the Connecticut cold once more. I feel like the biggest thing that we have to discuss is the movie, of course, the absolute concept, the film that was Joker.
Joker, yes. So
we went with
spoilers
some of our
alert.
friends to see it opening day. So yes, consider this this podcast to be filled with spoilers, a spoiler cast, if you will.
Perhaps, yes.
So yeah, if you don't want the movie spoiled for you, tune back in like
If you haven't
around
seen the movie,
11:35
then yeah, just
when
come
we will
back
shift
later.
topics.
But if you have seen the movie,
Oh,
then I
please
think
do
you'll enjoy
hang.
this for sure.
So, Joker, most notably portrayed in three ways: Heath Ledger, of course, iconic, legendary;
Yes, I agree.
Jared Leto,
Uh-huh.
can go without saying. Just disregard.
I think his performance was okay. It's just more to do with like the writing in that movie.
Yeah,
I just
it didn't do him justice at all.
It didn't. But
But
it is what it is.
it is what it is. And now, Joaquin Phoenix.
The greatest.
What
Absolutely
a
the greatest.
movie. What a masterpiece. Never seen anything like it.
A genius.
I said as soon as we got out, I don't think I've ever been more uncomfortable for 2 hours straight. Like the entire time you're on edge, dude. But like, it's a really good film.
It is a good film. What part of the movie made you just feel like you're not, I guess, comfortable?
All of it, question mark?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so this is where the spoilers begin, so
Oh, no.
tune out if you don't want spoilers. But the part of the film that had me the most shook, because all of it has you shook,
Yeah, I love it.
he walks into a neighbor's house that throughout the movie you're made to believe that he's been courting this lady, shall we say. They run into the elevator, then she's kind of by his side, and you're like, oh, is this the new Harley Quinn or something? So he gets back after like one of his like worst days where he's like starting to spiral into being the Joker, and he walks into her house. He just kind of sits on the couch. You hear the girl in the background with her kid, and she comes onto the screen and she gasps and she's like, hey, what are you doing here? Your name's Arthur, right? Please leave. Can I call someone for you?
No, I don't think she says your name's Arthur. She says you're the guy from down the hall.
Yeah, she says you from
Yeah.
the hall. Your name's Arthur, right? Like she knows of him, but you're like, wait, why would she have to verify his name if she
Can't
knows
say, like,
him?
down the hall. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, she's like, my little girl is like asleep in her room, please, just please. And he just says, I've had a bad day. And then
He did have a bad day.
so whenever they meet, her kid is like being mad annoying, and so she mimes like a finger gun. And so this scene is so like Oh my goodness, it is so like excruciating to watch because he just like slowly raises a finger gun to his face, and then it cuts to him walking away down the hallway like in his room, and then you just see like the flashing of police lights outside, and you're like, wait a second, what did he do?
Ambulance, crazy.
Because you don't see her again for the rest of the movie.
You don't see her again for the rest of the movie.
That's the part that had me the most shook, because throughout the whole movie you're made to believe that they've been like hanging out, right? And you're like, whoa, this is literally going to be Harley Quinn, because she's not like disagreeing with what he does, she's just kind of going along with it, and like she doesn't know he's Joker, like evil, but like his opinions are very much like Joker's all right, you know?
Yeah.
And so you're made to believe that she's with him, and then you realize that he's been hallucinating her.
Yeah, it's like the thing about this movie that I enjoyed the most was it wasn't your average like comic book, you know,
Not at all.
action-packed movie like Marvel usually does.
That, dude, high key facts.
Yeah, so I really like this new take. It's more of a drama, right? It like when I went into this movie, I didn't like go into it saying like, oh, I'm gonna watch like another superheroes, and it showed like it was mostly talked about a guy with mental disorders, mental illnesses.
Okay, so
it was literally a regular guy, right? It could have been anyone, like the Joker. That's what I'm saying. It took the life of a guy who's had a really messed up life, and
a tragic childhood,
a very tragic life. And the movie just portrays his life. And not once did they had to reference some Batman stuff in there too.
You do get to meet the baby bat himself.
Right. But again, I can see how this is like a standalone in itself, you know.
In terms of an origin movie, it was fantastic. And like you said, it could very well be a standalone film. Like, on its own, the movie doesn't need to be a part of any universe. Like, you watch it and you're like, okay, I understand how the Joker became the Joker. And the weirdest thing is, like, people were concerned about this movie because they're like, it's going to make you sympathize with the Joker.
Right.
Especially after, you know, people kind of idolizing him. And
yes,
like I don't want to call it a scandal, but like the tragedy that was the Aurora shooting. And then, you know, the families and friends of the victims saying that this movie kind of glorifies the Joker. I would disagree, having seen it now, because you do feel bad for the man, but as he becomes a Joker, like, his actions are so like purely evil, right? Spiteful, disgusting, and you can't help but be like, oh, this is a bad guy. This is the Joker. Like, you don't feel as bad for him anymore once he becomes the villain that he is. It's just like you kind of re-accept him, like, all right, back to the Joker that we knew before. Because we have met the Joker through various iterations of the character.
Yes. Do you think he's a bad guy then?
Yes.
Do you justify the things he does?
No.
Do you justify it from his view though?
Not at all.
I do.
All right, we can discuss that in a second, but before you even go into detail, I want to point back to something you said about mental illness.
Go ahead.
So whenever we left the movie, I was like, I'm interested to see how what the backlash is going to be about them kind of like relying so heavily on mental illness, because I felt like the statement made by the movie was it doesn't excuse his behavior,
right?
Which is, you know what I mean, and to start with, like, doesn't excuse behavior. You still get to choose right and wrong, whether your viewpoint of right and wrong is skewed based on your own personal bias and experience. But I mean, it does not justify him being pure evil, as is the character of the Joker, because he's evil for the sake of being evil.
He does, right? But through his point of view, I can see why he does the things he do.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
All right, so elaborate then on your viewpoint. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Do not Joker laugh in my studio.
I'm not Joker. That's literally how I laugh. Listen. I think the movie did a really good job on showing or creating a character that is so, like, had such a, like, messed up life. He literally had nothing going for him, right? So the movie
like, even his mother.
Right, so the movie showed this, like, at the beginning of the movie, I don't know if you noticed, but he was very, like, he lacked confidence, very anxious at stuff.
Yeah.
He couldn't control his laugh. Like, he would laugh sporadically
due
to his illness, correct? So
you read his card, right? It says that this is common in people who have suffered mental trauma or something, and you don't get an explanation until later, and you realize that his mother, who he loves so much, was the person that inflicted this upon him.
Yes. And you can see as the film progresses towards the end, he after like he does all these murders, he feels more confident in himself. He feels more liberated. He feels like he's doesn't have to be anxious anymore, right? He's not living for anyone anymore. And you could see like after that, he can kind of control his laugh. He doesn't laugh like out of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So what I liked about this film was the creators did such a good job of giving a guy just a little bit enough, right? But not too much, and then being able to take everything that he had. Like he had literally nothing going for him, Carla.
At all, man.
Nothing. So when you ask me, are the things he does justified? From his perspectives, I can see why he does it.
All right, so here's what I want to say about that.
Yes.
The movie also touched... first of all, the movie had a lot of parallels to modern day politics. Like, just as a side note. That's not something we have to discuss, but just that thought just occurred to me.
That's kind of if.
No.
I mean, the last scene for sure had a lot of politics, for sure.
That's besides the point. Punto y aparte. I was going to say, the Joker as an entity and the Joker as a movement were also a distinction that was made by the film, because if you pay attention, the Joker really only goes after people that harmed him, with the exception of the girl neighbor. Like that is his one like inexcusable like act of violence, because the first time that he kills is the three guys making fun of him on the subway, right? The second time is his coworker that like betrayed him, because he lets the other guy go. He's like, I'm not gonna hurt you. Like he only goes after people who personally have done him harm.
You see him actually kill them, like in the scene, right?
Yes.
But the girl you don't really see.
You don't see it.
And I think they did that purposely.
It's definitely like suggestive audio and visuals, but like you are led to believe that he did kill her.
Right. But the thing is, I don't.
Or at
it's
you
weird.
don't know,
it's
right?
really
because
odd
they
if
don't
he
show.
did,
And
right?
so like
you said, the people that he killed, they were like really mean to him.
And maybe
I
he
don't
just
see the
scared
girl,
her,
like, being
and that's
mean
why she called the cops.
Maybe, but I don't see any reason why.
So I think that path was an open ending on purpose, because that gives them the choice of bringing her back as like a counter character, if you will.
Sure.
Or if you are supposed to assume that he kills her, it's good that they didn't show it, because that would have lost the audience. They would have been like, okay, this Joker is...
That's too far. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's
like,
too
you're
far.
Like, why would he kill her? There's too many questions.
It's
that's too
like
much,
he can't. It's like past the point of no return, right?
Everything else you can see why they killed them. Which is justified again.
It's not justified. It's not justified.
100%. The one controversial would be probably his mother.
See,
but I can see why
on that
he
one
killed
I
her,
disagree. I was going to say on that one I disagree, because imagine the person that's supposed to take care of you, the person that's supposed to be watching out for you, that's the person that allowed the most hurt to come your way. It's her fault that he like is as damaged as he is.
Okay, which people do you think, you said you disagree, right? Which one would you agree that, okay, yes, good job on killing them? Right?
What you mean?
Like you just said, her mother, you kind of like see why he killed her.
Obviously, I don't condone murder, because that is the difference between being sane and not. Of course, but I'm saying
we're talking about the movie right now.
But if you're saying that through his perspective,
yeah,
like all of it is justified, the only one I would say is justified is that, because...
No, which one isn't?
Which one isn't?
Yeah.
Any of the others.
Really?
Well, okay. The guys in the subway train. The guys in the subway, they're like beating him up, right?
Exactly.
That's like a very heat of the moment thing,
and
which happens in real life,
they were,
right?
Like, messing around with that girl, like.
Yeah. So
I had a gun. I'm not saying anything, but like it's like, fight or die at that point.
Okay, no, it's not.
Yes,
but like you said, in his eyes, that's justified, because he was fearing for his life. They were beating him up, and all he tried to do was like save that girl. But like I said, it's heat of the moment. The guy that gets away, by then he's had enough time to clear his head, but he still gets out of the subway and follows him down and shoots him multiple times. After he's dead, he shoots him again.
I loved that scene.
Jorge, man, I'm concerned.
I'm just saying, like, I don't see it as bad from his eyes. Obviously, from my point of view, it's bad.
From a normal human being,
but
not
in
the Joker's
movie,
state
I
of
like
damage.
to put myself like
cinematically,
how I would
a
be.
Fantastic scene.
Immersion, right?
And in terms of explaining who he is and why he does what he does, fine. Okay, I concur.
Yes, Carla, join my side.
No, I will not join your side. You remember those old memes that's like, join the dark side, we have cookies? You're like, join the dark side, we have the Joker.
No, I mean, just I don't know. I can really see his pain. Like he kills because he has nothing to lose, you know.
No, he
Literally
doesn't
nothing.
start like that. He kills because he finally gains control of his life, right?
No, you're wrong.
No.
Yes.
I'm not. He stops taking his meds. He
I'm
dyes
talking
his hair.
about,
He
like-
becomes
Right.
his mask.
Exactly.
He becomes his mask. And then after
He becomes a blank canvas
no
when he paints his face white.
yes,
he's a
fine,
canvas.
sure.
That's right.
And
That's
he
right.
becomes his mask. He becomes the persona. He becomes who he I guess has wanted to be
I don't know about
and
that.
who he was hindered from being. Because before he had to care for his mother, he had a job to worry about. So he has
Mhm.
nothing to lose once he loses his job and his mother, right?
That's right.
And so he becomes this persona, which is whenever he first gets the gun, he's like, it's a prop, it's a part of my act. He
Mhm.
becomes his act. And back to what I was saying about the Joker as an entity versus a movement, he inspires, like by accident, a whole political like charge against Thomas Wayne.
The rich.
And everyone's like, eat the rich, la, 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 la.
That's
And
right.
they wear the Joker mask because
That's
they
right.
think that he killed the subway
Symbolic.
guys just because, whatever. Like
Mhm.
they're just random Wall Street guys that deserve to die.
Right.
But so he accidentally starts like a whole movement of people revolting against like the rich who pretend to care about the poor, but then everything they do kind of harms them either way. And multiple times he's asked, are you doing this as a statement? And he's like, no, I don't care about politics. I'm doing this
doesn't.
because I feel like it.
That's
Whenever
right.
he's on the late night talk show.
But I feel like he's really glad that he's finally like getting noticed, because all his life he's been such like a loser, you know.
And
now
it's
he's
not
like,
even that he wasn't noticed. It's just that he was looked down upon. And now people can't look down upon him because they fear him.
they fear the Joker.
They fear the Joker.
He's finally being. People are starting to notice, Carla. People are starting to notice.
Yes, they are. He is recognized.
Mhm.
And I feel like that is what like the distinction is between him, a Joker, the Joker, and
You know how he got the name?
Joker?
Yeah.
Because the guy called in this film or
Yeah,
in,
yeah,
the,
in
in
the film,
general.
in the
yeah,
film.
because the guy, he's like, look at this Joker.
Yes,
And
that's
then
why.
whenever he goes on to the show, he's like, can you introduce me
Right.
as
so
Joker?
that is cool.
And he's
that is
like,
cool.
what? Why? And he's
Because
like, you called me
usually
that.
the character's name is Joker, right? But we don't really know
like
why.
he names himself the
Right.
Joker. So I'm like, you're supposed to
Right.
assume.
We're assuming, right? But really,
Yeah.
in this film specifically, Murray
He
calls him a
takes it.
Joker.
He takes the name. He reclaims the name.
Exactly, because when he found out like he is adopted, and his mother like
Yes.
lied to him his whole life.
He doesn't know who he is. he
Arthur
is
Fleck
nobody.
That's what his mother gave him, right? So when he killed her mother, it's like he lost that with him.
He embodies the persona
So now
of
he's
Joker,
empty. He doesn't
of
know who he
being
is
a
anymore.
Joker, of
He's
becoming
literally
the
brand new.
Joker.
Exactly. So he brands the name.
It's amazing. Like the way that this movie was done was so like, I don't even have the words to describe it. It was just like you're left speechless because it's beautiful, but it's so tragic. What's the line he says? My life isn't a tragedy; it's a comedy.
No, he
I'm
said
like, bro,
my
that
whole life.
shift.
My whole life, I thought it was a tragedy, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I lived my whole life thinking it was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy,
Yeah.
right? Because your life has been so bad, like so many times, that at this point it's just
And
funny.
he spent all this time lamenting his life when he realizes he can just be like, lol, that's funny.
I used to think my whole life was a cringe compilation, but now I realize it's a try not to laugh challenge.
I hate you
Carla. Oh
so
my
much.
god,
That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Oh
All
my
right.
god.
Good night. We're going off air. Go
Oh
back to
my
listening to the
God, that is
violin thing that's
crazy.
programmed into the
That is
station.
crazy.
Goodbye.
Yes. No, but that's basically it, right?
The fact that you just said that, I swear to God. I will be tweeting this, as I will with other memorable quotes from the show from our Twitter account, which I swear to God I'm trying to use more. It's podcast by K. That is PODKASTXK on Twitter. So yeah, follow that for more quotes from these kids who love to spew nonsense into the
Love to
mics.
see it.
Or to send in your thoughts and your questions and your suggestions for more conversations.
Mm-hmm.
But yes,
Beautiful movie, 10 out of 10.
it's an
11 out of
amazing,
10.
amazing movie. It's an amazing film. It was kind of Tarantino, like I would say.
Yeah, a little bit. Some
watched-
Scorsese there.
Yes, as well.
Taxi
The
Driver.
like the
It took a lot of
aesthetics of
inspiration
it
from those
were
films.
okay. So the aesthetics I thought were kind of very Scorsese, right?
Right.
The pace of it was what felt Tarantino to me. I recently watched Hateful Eight,
Mm-hmm.
and like the same way that first of all, the title appears just Joker on screen, same way that the title appears on that. And then also like the pacing of it. Usually like the villains do this whole speech before they do some nonsense. Joker's just like, shut up already. Bang. So yeah, there were a lot of parallels to like other like significantly striking movies that were like that. And can we just discuss how the trailer was gorgeous. I loved the trailer. Honestly, I never cared much for the Joker or any of like the fandom that accompanied him, because art from the artist, entity from the movement, just like the Joker just at this point has such a like odd like cringe compilation type connotation.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, I'm so edgy, I'm the Joker, I
very
didn't really
much
like
so.
that. I didn't like that. But this film is like
the trailer. So when the trailer came out, I saw as a YouTube ad, and so I saw Joker, and I was just like, really, we needed another one of these? But they used, what's the song? Smile. I was like, first of all, song choice, brilliant.
Smile.
But the way it's done, the aesthetics, and also visually, it looks a lot like Gotham, the TV show, which I loved. But yeah, everything about that trailer just hooks you in, and you're like, wait a second. Joker film? That is good?
Yeah, it's fine. Like, when I first saw that trailer, I instantly knew that it was going to be like a very dark, gritty Joker movie,
Yes.
Like, a lot of people had like skepticism, thinking maybe it's not going to be good based on the trailer, like it's going to flop or something. But I don't know, there was just something about that trailer that really stuck out to me, like, okay, this is going to be a really, really good movie.
For sure.
And I've been waiting for like 6 months now. And it did not disappoint, Carla.
It did not. I was going to ask, how were your expectations met? Because mine were destroyed.
So I posted this on my Snap, right? I put 10 out of 10. That was my initial expectations.
Yeah.
And then I came out with 11 out of 10. They surpassed it. They surpassed an already perfect score, Carla. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. Like, compared to Endgame, the two different movies, but
oh, wow, yes, for sure.
I'd give Endgame like a 7 out of 10,
I don't disagree. Endgame, you go into it with expectations of grandeur because, it is the end game.
It is the end game.
And so, like, it was kind of it was fan service, the movie. Like, they did what the audience wanted, which isn't a bad.
There's very, like, hints of predictability in there, too.
Yeah, and it's like, you're supposed to be shook by it, kind of like whenever you first read those posts on the internet, it's like, whoa, conspiracy theory, headcanon accepted or whatever.
Exactly.
And, like, watching it happen, it's just like, oh, hey, that's cool. I saw that before somewhere.
Right.
But Joker, nothing about it goes as you expect it to.
It's amazing.
And this is the type of movie that doesn't seem like it's just looking for ways to catch you off guard. It's genuinely a well-written film.
Yeah, it's everything. The writing, the choreography,
the stunt
choreo, the cinematography,
oh
like everything.
The score.
This movie hit like every single point like so well.
Everything about it, and like the different angles of different takes, the
performance
transitions
from Joaquin Phoenix, like
oh
my
wow,
God.
Yes. And it's like everyone was kind of skeptical as well because they're like, can we ever get a better Joker than Heath Ledger?
Yes, we can.
Yes, this isn't the one we needed; it's the one we deserved.
No, Joaquin definitely like he performed.
So
Oscar-winning performance right there.
Calling it now.
He should at least get nominated for sure.
Definitely. Because, and also he had to like change for the role, right? Because in the film he's like super scrawny and like gross.
He lost like 15 or 50 pounds.
Wild. Insane. The dedication to the role. And he didn't have to do it as a method actor or whatever it is Jared Leto tried to do for Suicide Squad.
That's right.
Which was super weird.
He's just really talented. Like, I don't know
super talented. It was amazing. But speaking of the trailer and the score, as always, we have song suggestions. And Jorge, what, pray tell, have you chosen for us to listen to tonight?
I have chosen the score from the first trailer of this movie. There's just something beautiful yet tragic about it.
You're not wrong.
It's so pretty to listen to.
Let's listen to that. Amazing, absolutely gorgeous. It was the first time we've used this score in the podcast, and technically I will say we did use a song that has an orchestral score written into it, but it was beautiful. Actually, one of my most played songs in high school was the score for the theme song for Iron Man 3. It's gorgeous. Yes.
Perfect. Amazing.
Loved it. But this right here, oh, I love that. Sometimes whenever people try to write the score into a song, it doesn't flow the greatest, but with this movie, it's like you take such a happy, uplifting song and use it for something so dark and gritty as the Joker, and to incorporate an orchestra into it, it's beautiful.
Even the sample of the use of the song "Smile."
Yeah, which actually used to be Michael Jackson's favorite song, the Charlie Chaplin version.
Yes, sir.
According to my mother. Shout out to my mother for listening to the show. But yeah, that was an amazing choice. Speaking of origin stories, Jorge, I want to ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What would you say is your origin story, or rather key moments in why you are the way that you are? Because I feel like that's a question people ask a lot. It's just, Jorge, why are you like this?
Why I am the way I am?
Yes.
I don't know. I like to say I live pretty, as you would say, willy-nilly, sure. I don't know. There isn't much that I really, focus really hard on,
Yeah.
Because I feel like life is too short to, worry about all that stuff. So that's why I try to, limit my stress on things. As far as doing the things or, why I do the things I do.
Yes.
There is for sure purpose behind them.
Everything you do is with a purpose, huh?
Everything I do, literally almost everything, I'd say 98% of the time, there is a purposeful act behind it. Whether it is to...
So you don't actually live as willy-nilly as you would lead to suggest?
Maybe not. No.
You act for personal gain?
Yeah, for sure. Almost everything. I have a purpose,
Yes.
That's how I carry myself.
Right.
It may not be something bad. It may not be for gain. Maybe it could be for someone else's gain.
Right.
Maybe I do it to help some other, I guess, less fortunate. Maybe it's because I just want to hang. Maybe I want to be happy. Maybe I want to be sad, But I don't do things just on the flim. In the sense that I don't feel anything.
Of course. So
yes.
Would you say you are motivated by how things make you feel?
Ooh.
Are you emotionally driven?
Am I emotionally driven? That's a good question. Please elaborate on that.
So you said that it's you do everything with a purpose, whether that's to help somebody out or to be happy or because you just want to hang. And all of this kind of turns back around on how you get to reflect on the situation. So would you say that you are driven by net gain of your own personal happiness?
Yes. So I feel like everything you do, there's some reaction towards it, right?
Yes.
You can't just do nothing and expect something to happen, right?
Right.
So I would say I'm driven, I try to incorporate some stuff that I learned in my life through all these choices that I've made, and having so it helps me make even more smarter choices.
Yes.
In return, those smarter choices lead to more gains.
Okay.
More.
So you do it for the gains? Grind don't stop and all of that?
I don't know, just more something, something to make me feel anything. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it is emotionally motivated.
Perhaps, yes. In a way.
I don't hate that, That does give some insight as to why you like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, because it's interesting that you justify it in that way. Not justify, that's the wrong word, but it's just
justify.
No. It's interesting that you explain it in that way, because whenever you started and you said it's for personal gain, most people would be like, oh, most people could be like, that's selfish.
Yeah,
because you just want to come out on top.
Though. That's right about that.
Sure, but if you go deeper into depth, you are still it's not just to come out on top as a exclusively selfish person would. There's a little bit more layered depth into, you're just trying to feel not necessarily happy, just feel some sort of
anything,
some sort of you just want to have something you can react to, right? Exactly. You don't want more of the same. You don't want to live life in the mundane.
Yes, everything you said is 100% true.
Yeah.
And it's not just that, there's different I guess ways you can get gains or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. There can be. It can even be like something super small. Like you don't. Like you said.
You're trying to get emotionally swole.
I don't want. I don't want to come out on top.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you know, I'm
Right.
okay with just being at the bottom. You know,
Uh-huh.
as long as I feel something worthwhile.
Right.
I'm chilling.
Yeah. Okay. So you just so worthwhile.
Yes.
You're the type of person that wants things to be worth your time.
Something genuine. That's very important
Yes.
to me. Yes.
Okay, on that I will agree. I would say that I enjoy when things that I do are genuine, and I enjoy feeling that energy reciprocated in a genuine way.
Mhm.
When someone's acting out of personal gain, it's like, all right, I'll still vibe with you, but like, just know, like, that's not my vibe, right?
Mhm.
If I go through something and I notice myself making some sort of misstep or something, it's like, I now know more about this issue, right?
Mhm.
So I'll be the type of person that will try to act without letting anyone else fall into that. And I feel like whenever you're like, oh, I know about this, some people will read that as like, oh, arrogant, pretentious, cocky. But it's like, bro, I'm just trying to help you out because I know what it's like to be in that place, and I don't think anyone else should be in that place. You know, like how people are like, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Mhm.
Like, that's a very true thing. Because, you know, whenever you do go through things in life and you catch yourself being spiteful, or when you catch yourself being like just off in some type of way, it's not rewarding. And like, you do feel something, but it's nothing good. And so it's just that net gain of, you know, positive versus negative emotions. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I've been through like a pretty apathetic phase, like where like I didn't care about anything. I was just kind of like,
very edgy. I wouldn't say I don't care about anything.
no, like I'm
There are
saying, like,
definitely
you know
some
how
things
like most
that you really
like,
care about.
you know, the stereotype about like teens being angsty and rebellious.
Uh-huh.
My angsty, rebellious teenage phase was just apathy. I was just like, how was your day? Boring.
Right.
That's it. And so
Right.
now that I'm like over that, I guess,
Mhm.
I'm just like, dude,
Your
everything is
your
so interesting.
phase.
Everything is so cool. Yeah, that emo phase is gone.
Oh, that emo phase. You had an emo phase?
No, I didn't
bro?
have an emo phase. I just told you I had like a really
Respect.
boring, like annoying phase. I was so jaded to everything. Now I'm just like, wow, things are cool. Let's indulge.
You were numb.
By Linkin Park.
I mean, just in general, like you don't feel anything is what you're trying to
Yeah,
say.
that's like the worst feeling. So like, it's not doing something to feel. It's just doing things to feel better. Not good,
Exactly.
just better.
Right. So that's where I guess I'm the opposite, you know. I don't like feeling numb, right?
Yeah, no
That's
one
why
likes
I like
feeling
to feel something. That's,
even if it's not something good.
even if it's not something good, because it gives me something. I don't enjoy it for sure.
Yeah.
Like I hate being mad. I
Mhm.
don't think you've ever seen me mad because I rarely try to not.
Whenever, yeah.
I get quiet, right? I get
Yes.
quiet.
Uh-huh.
This is very true. If people have noticed me mad, I don't tend to like,
You don't lash out.
because I don't want to like escalate things. I
Right.
could, right? And I've definitely done in
But
the
for
past.
what?
But like at this point,
There's
I've
no
learned.
gains.
I've learned like through those mistakes in the past that it doesn't really like equate to anything. It doesn't really
Right.
progress anything. Sure, you might be like a little bit, I don't know, what's the word, cool or whatever for like 2 seconds, and then bang, reality hits, back to normal
Yeah.
again.
Like
I
in
would
the
rather-
moment, like I feel
right.
like acting out of anger is just like I did something. It's like, did you
Right.
though?
Did you though? Exactly. So like, does it really? I don't know. That's why I tend to get quiet. So I just let things happen. Sometimes I even just leave,
Right.
like in the environment. I just get up and I just
It's
dip.
just time to
And
dip.
people are like, why did you just leave like that? You know, that's
The vibe was off.
the vibe was off. So, but that rarely happens.
Yeah.
So.
See, and so that's why I would say you don't really do things. I don't think anyone does. Obviously, to not be numb, right? To feel. But I don't
Mhm.
think it's necessarily just to feel anything. Because like you said, like anger doesn't lead to anything, right?
No.
I feel like,
doesn't.
like, obviously there are varying degrees of like selfishness and outweighing like other characteristics, other traits. And I feel like, I don't know, it's more so not to feel good or positive, just better. Like, better than the current state you're in.
Would you rather feel numb, like forever your life, or be able to feel anger?
Anger versus numbness, that's the only two options.
Yes. So you can feel anger or you can feel numb.
This ties back to the discussion about the Joker, bro.
Does
Like,
it?
yeah,
I know
because he
my
was just
answer.
taking out. You would say angry rather than numb, wouldn't you?
Of course, I'd say anger because that means you care.
Yeah, okay, you're not wrong,
You
but
know.
you could care in the wrong way, like the Joker
At least you care about something. Whereas if you're numb, it's just
himself.
like,
That's selfish, and you're harming others for your own personal
okay,
gain.
chill out. I never said I'm the
Not
Joker.
you,
all right?
not you. I'm saying the Joker. Like,
Okay,
in the
bet.
context of the Joker.
But yes, that shows to me that you care. If someone's angry, they obviously care about something.
Obviously,
you know?
yes.
So
But I don't know if I would, because you do care, but at what cost? At what cost?
I love this.
No, these are the good discussions. It's
No,
a lot more interesting than Christmas socks, for sure.
Christmas socks, they'll still bang. But for sure, almost all the times, anything worthwhile, I would choose over not being able to feel anything.
And see, this is why I feel like the Joker was such a masterpiece, because it makes you ask these questions.
But I feel like he doesn't feel anything. Like, he's lost everything where everything, I wouldn't say it's numb, but he just does stuff in the moment. He lives life as like on willy-nilly.
He does live
100%.
life willy-nilly, doesn't he?
So I guess that's some similarities if you were to like, because I know you wanted to point out similarities.
No, I don't. I'm saying there's a lot of parallels you can draw, and I feel like that was the point of the Joker. Kind of like, you know how, what's the thing with the horse? BoJack Horseman?
Yeah.
That cartoon, apparently, I don't really watch it, but I've watched a few episodes, and obviously because of the internet I've heard of it, and like it's kind of impossible to avoid.
Sure.
But this, as well as other like adult cartoons and other types of shows, are made to kind of point out the flaws in society. But then you have people that watch the show and enjoy it, and then you also have the people that watch the show and idolize that character, and it's like, oh wow, we're so alike, and it's like, bro, that's the exact opposite of the point.
Right.
Like, you're supposed to know, if you notice any similarities, you're supposed to like take that as a wake up call and be like, hey, that character's funny, but he's doing something bad. I should not be like that. But then you have people that are like, oh, all right, it's excusable because I relate to this character. And so I feel like that's the point of the Joker. Or not the point of it, but it's just kind of like something to keep in mind. It's like, you can watch the Joker and be like, good character, good movie, like well written, but you're not supposed to relate to him, I don't think, to that degree. Like, you're supposed to pick out these little things, and that's where like the shock value comes in. It's like, whoa, he felt like this, he lived through this, but then he reacted in a totally out of pocket way.
People like that though. He started a huge movement.
The movement, right? But they took something he did and kind of revamped it for something positive, if you would say. But the Joker didn't care. He was just kind of like, time for more murder.
Time for more murder. You want to hear a joke?
I'm telling you, man. I'm going to kick you off the show.
I'm kidding.
Please watch the film if you haven't already. But, wow. That's like the millionth reference that Jorge has made. And I'm sitting here like, should I just have 911 pulled up on my phone or?
Yes.
I did enjoy that scene though. The talk
yeah.
show. Everything about that. That's like the spiral of the Joker. But that's still the Joker that you watch and you're like, oh wow, what a character. It's
calls
like
everyone out.
He calls everyone out, dude.
Everything. The system, everything.
And it's right before that point of no return, right? Where you're like, oh dude, too far. He is a bad guy.
Yeah. And Murray is the voice of reason in this scene, right?
Which is crazy because before Murray, like from the perspective of the Joker, I know we said no more spoilers after the second half, but we're back on this topic. Murray is like one of the Joker's villains because he makes fun of him and like his attempt at stand-up, which I will say the Joker's stand-up was cute. It was endearing. I liked his jokes. But, okay. For Murray to become the voice of reason, you're just like, wait. Whoa. The tables.
Exactly.
Have tabled.
Have table. And then bang.
Bang.
2 bangs.
It's insane. And I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe it. It was just, it's impactful. And there's, like, could you imagine if celebrities in real life snapped like that? Like, imagine Bieber, like, publicly scrutinized, criticized by the media.
That's the cool thing about...
if he lashed out like that.
About the movie is that people, when you say the relatable aspect, right?
Yeah.
About the character, people do relate, but they wouldn't do the things that he does. Sure, they feel what he's feeling, like, you know, damn, I live so badly, you know, fuck the rich and all that stuff. But he doesn't, like, people wouldn't do that kind of stuff that he does to that extent, right? So when he does it, it's so like shock culture, you know, and it's like, wow, he really did the undoable, right? And then that hypes people up. He's like, okay, we this guy, he's got it, dude.
Of course. It's definitely a lot to take in. Like the relatability aspect, like you said, like it's taken and absolutely like destroyed. Because like I guess people might think they can live vicariously through characters like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's an interesting outlet to take.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, people don't just go on live talk shows and
Huh?
I don't know if that's one spoiler I'm not ready to like explicitly say, but like I mean,
Nah,
you know what
it's
happens.
okay. You don't have to. It's fine.
But yeah, I mean, would you say that you relate to the Joker?
Me?
Yes, you. Now I'm asking you directly.
Ooh, I mean, not entirely sure.
Yeah.
I'm more so like, okay, so when we were watching the movie, right? I don't know if you noticed, but I was smiling mostly throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
I like seeing chaos unfold.
Chaos for the sake of chaos?
Chaos for the sake of anything, really. I just like seeing
chaotic
things.
Evil in the studio.
I just like seeing conflict, just peace.
For what purpose, Jorge? Everything you do is with a purpose, so why do you enjoy chaos so?
It's something new. It stirs things up.
Okay.
It's something that people don't expect. It's unpredictable.
You're not wrong.
And that just makes me feel really, like, happy.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. But that's just like a little side of me. That's my chaos side. I like seeing chaos.
Okay, so that's your chaos side.
Drama.
As opposed to what?
Huh?
As opposed to what?
I'd say I'm a pretty nice guy.
I
don't really have too many grudges. I don't really hold grudges.
Right.
So if I were to pick any similarities between the Joker, it'd probably be like we're both, I don't know, losers.
You said it, not me.
That's right. But I wouldn't snap. Unlike him, I have a lot to lose.
Yeah.
So maybe if I didn't have so much to lose.
Do you think that is like what defined the character? Is just like the lack of anything, literally just to keep him sane?
I think so, yeah.
Because he loses his mom, he loses his job, he loses even his therapist and access to like medication to help him,
Not
try
only
to get
that,
better
but he's
in
been
one way.
abused his whole life too.
Yeah.
So
he's looked down upon by his family, by society, by everyone.
And then when after all these years of taking care of his mother, and he finds out,
not even
she's the reason, that's like enough to make anyone snap. But I don't think anyone has. People have some stuff going for them, right? I think the movie purposely created the character in a way that he had literally nothing.
Right.
And I think some people do have, even if it's really small, they have something. Right. So if you don't have, like this dude, perhaps you could.
Of course. I still say his actions are not justified or excusable.
Oh, they're definitely not. But if I was him, I could see why.
Through the perspective and the context given by the film.
Yeah.
Maybe. But that's only something that I've ever even considered thinking, and only for this version of the Joker. Because Heath Ledger's Joker, I was just like, this ain't it. And especially Jared Leto's Joker, I was just like, why are you even here?
Yeah, just for this film. This film is a standalone.
You think they'll do anything else with it?
Maybe. Maybe they convince Phoenix to come back. Sure.
Like a phoenix from the flames.
I doubt it, though.
I hope they do, because, I mean, we do know we're getting a new Batman film with Robert Pattinson. Which, first of all, interesting choice of casting.
Yes, very interesting choice.
But, I mean, I'm hyped to see DC kind of fill in the shoes, if you will, because I really do think Marvel's over.
I don't know about that, maybe, but
they're not like ended, but for now,
I do like to see DC do more of these films, like these more gritty R-rated films. I think they can reach a better audience than that of Marvel.
And they do it in a different way, because Marvel's R-rated. Marvel's only R-rated, I should say, is what's it called? Is Deadpool Marvel?
Deadpool? No, Deadpool's like Fox.
Deadpool's like aside from most studios, but like that's the only other R-rated like super anything film we've seen, right? Wolverine, Logan,
yeah, that was also Fox. So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this is a new trend, shall we say, of like a deviation from the typical family-friendly movies that you see.
I hope so. I love it.
I like seeing new things.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing innovation, especially when it's something that's been done over and over again.
Yeah, it does get repetitive.
It really does. Jorge,
Yeah.
we did another song at the beginning of the show relevant to that topic, since we're talking about your origin story and what makes you you.
Right.
Give us another song to listen to.
Okay, so this one's just like a classic song, you know. You got your verse, your chorus, your
Right.
second verse, your second chorus, your bridge, and then end on the chorus
Why
again.
are you like this?
It was a traditional, song. I don't know, I just really like this song. My friend showed it to me one day, and I don't know, I just like the way it sounds.
All right, so what are we listening to, Jorge?
It's called Lady by Blake Rose. Shout out to Kelvin for that song.
All right, so here is that. That was Lady by Blake Rose.
Yes, sir.
Good song. I love the juxtaposition of that with the dark version of Smile.
Yeah.
What a varied taste in music.
My taste is pretty crazy.
All right, well, Jorge, as our
Mhm.
time draws to a close, do you have any final thoughts, statements?
Yes, I'd like to state that this will be my one and last podcast I will ever be coming on this show. Forever.
No, first of all, you already done multiple shows before.
Okay,
so it's not your
multiple.
one
They've
and
been like
only.
with other people, but I'm saying like as solo,
Uh-huh.
me the only person. This is the last one you will ever see of me here. I'm
Why?
not coming
What
back
is your purpose for
alone.
this decision?
What's my purpose?
Yes. Which you've decided to announce live on air with 3 minutes to go.
Well, mostly because my first episode, wasn't recorded, so I'm like, okay, I don't really mind. So
Trial run.
right, so I guess I'll do it one more time and one night time only. So
You're not a fan of the solo shows?
I'll definitely come back with like maybe some friends and stuff. But as of just me,
Right.
myself,
And you.
and I, correct, I will not be joining you.
That's an interesting decision. Your episodes are always intriguing, to say
Maybe
the
I'll
least.
come back senior year,
When
last
is
month.
senior year for you?
2022.
All right, I guess we'll see you in 2022, because you have to specify, because I've been a senior since last semester,
Respect.
and I'm going to be here forever.
Respect. Respect.
I was going to ask you something.
Go ahead.
Because you asked specifically from the start of this year
Yes.
for October 6th
Uh-huh.
to be your episode.
Correct.
What was the reason for this decision? Because you very explicitly said, Sunday, October 6th, my episode. Word for word, that's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why October 6th?
Well, initially,
Uh-huh.
I did not want to go on the podcast, right?
Yeah,
That's
you didn't
why.
want to do another solo.
Right. But then as I did like my first with Chris and Noor,
Yeah.
when I came back, I was like, maybe I'll have my own.
Uh-huh.
And then I chose October 6th because I feel like it's a good date in the sense of it's pretty, it's not too early, but it's not too late. It's like kind of in the middle. It gives people enough time to like kind of get to know me just a tiny bit
Uh-huh.
before, hearing me on live air and be like, who's this guy?
I mean, they have before. It's just, it's not recorded. We learned that you don't like socks except for the ones that Kim got you. We
Oh yeah,
learned
there's
that
definitely people that know a little.
you stan Kanye and that you are able to separate the art from the artist, especially when it comes to political versus artistic separations.
I feel like people know a little bit too much about me at this point. Maybe that's why I'm taking a break of podcast.
They only know what you decide to say, man.
Perhaps.
We've also had pretty nonsensical discussions, such as the conspiracy theories about what the moon is made out of.
I hated that.
That was an amazing episode, and I will hear nothing against it.
No, it was all right. It was cool.
So no more solo ups till senior year?
Yeah, probably not.
All right, well, y'all will be hearing back from Jorge with his squad, the
Yeah,
lads,
for
etc. Because this kid cannot stay away from the mic. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed the discussion about the Joker in depth, parallels to real life.
I enjoyed the discussion about me.
Of course you did, because as we learned, you are selfish.
Of course. Some selfishness is good though. I wouldn't say
Yeah.
I'm overly selfish.
Love yourself, put yourself first. All
I
that
do.
good stuff.
I do like, of course, yes, but I try to do
We
some
love
selfless
self-love.
acts.
All right. Well, with that as our final note, thanks for listening to 90.1 FM WECS. This has been Podcast with a K, and this is Carla with a K signing off. We'll see y'all Next week, same time, same station, new nonsense, new guest. Have a good week.